Welcome to Uncommon Analysis. Today I want to talk about the reaction. I want to talk about the 2024 election, in particular, some of the reactions of the left. This particular I want to talk about today is an article where Van Jones on Trump win, right? Turns out we were the idiots. Now the article itself is is okay. It's pretty short. It's basically Van Jones, for those you don't know, is a CNN pundit. He is very liberal. I am not a fan, to say the least. He sometimes actually does has reasonably decent insights. He's not completely out of off in la la land, but he definitely has a unique. I don't put a whole lot of faith in a lot of things come out of his mouth, but every once in a while he has a nugget. This is the one we're going to talk about today. Turns out we were idiots. Now this article is him lamenting that the Trump went on and used the internet to his advantage. He went on the alternate media system. He didn't go through the normal channels. He didn't go through CNN. He reached people through YouTube and podcasts and other media outlets, right? Um, and that they mocked him for not having the ground game that they thought he should have and things of that nature. Now, to him, that's what he's saying there is about. They didn't recognize that the media landscape had changed and Trump was leveraging it very, very well. Uh, I would take issue with that. I don't disagree they were idiots for not understanding the thing has changed, but did they really not understand? I mean, Kamala was on podcasts too. I mean, but Kamala was on dumbass. But I mean, who says it was stupid or weird? Because he actually calls it weird, right? He's doing these weird things on the internet. I think there's a quote in here. Yeah. So here it is. We woke up in a body bag because while we were knocking on doors, they were making these phone and 24-hour-a-day political weapons for themselves. Uh, and then he talks about it being weird too. I think. Got to make sure we put that. There it is. Yeah, laughing at Trump and throwing away his ground game and doing weird stuff online. Because we got to throw the weird in there, right? Because that was part of the 2024 way to the victory, apparently, for Kamala Harris, and was calling Trump and his supporters weird. I don't understand how they ever thought that was going to win them anything, but we got to make sure we put that in. So I don't know if that was a little dig intentionally or he just happened to use the word, but it's quite amusing. So he is right. He is right that they were fools. They were idiots. And they were idiots. But I don't. I think they're idiots in a larger term. And let me get to what I'm talking about. They were wrong. They didn't understand the new world of the media. They're used to the old world. The old world of the media was places like CNN, MSNBC, CBS News, ABC News, Fox News, all these guys. They had very much control of the narrative. They could pretty much dictate what was going to be and how they're going to be. They could take something like, for example, the ad the joke told by the comedian at the Madison Square Garden rally and tried to turn it into this big ordeal. It was a bad joke. It wasn't very funny, but he was a roast comedian anyway. I mean, that's what he does. He goes out and says insulting things. Now, why you would bring a roast comedian into a political rally is something I don't quite understand to begin to either. You can debate the wisdom of that, but the joke itself was a joke. It wasn't the worst joke I ever heard. It wasn't the greatest joke. And if you watch the actual video, the crowd pinch groans at it. They weren't really laughing at it. And it really wasn't a big deal. No one was giving much thought to this joke. But in desperation for their identity politics and divisiveness, anything they could take and try to spin as anti-Trump or making Trump look bad, well, damn it, they were going to do it. And sure enough, they latched onto that joke. Even though that joke was told like 3 hours before Trump was even in the building by a comedian, had nothing to do with the campaign directly. They were going to turn it into Trump's anti-immigrant, Trump's anti-Puerto Rican. We're going to swing the vote, blah, blah, blah. And they were well on their way. They had their narrative down. There were articles all over. You could find it. CNN was blaring it. MSNBC was blaring it. It was everywhere you could be found. And they thought they were going to turn that into something. Boy, howdy. We were going to turn it just like they'd always been able to do in the past because they had controlled the narrative. Didn't matter. Now they can't do that so much. Now, on that particular instance, it was amazing. It was just so amazing because Biden comes out a few minutes later, of course, and says, "Oh, all of Trump's supporters basically are garbage," and which of course just undercut everything. I mean, I guarantee the Democrats, the DNC, the people on the Kamala campaign, the people on but inside the White House, anybody related to the Democratic operation, was just had to face palm the minute that came out of Biden's mouth, right? And then they tried to spin that as it was he made it as an apostrophe s, like not actual plural, but a ownership, which is bullshit. They even changed the official uh, transcripts of the White House to make it look like he used an apostrophe S against the stenographer who was taking notes, who said this is a violation, and they broke the law doing it. But they don't care. That's who these people are. But anyway, so that was the first part that kind of undercut that nonsense. But they're trying to do it, and then Trump the next day with the actual garbage truck in front of the media was just amazing. It was just amazing. He just took it and owned it. Now, but they're still stuck in this old world. They're still stuck in the world that we control it. We tell you what you can think. We tell you what's important. We can portray it any way we want, and you're not going to know because we can spin it. And that's what these people are used to. And so, yes, Van Jones is right. They were idiots to believe that that was the world today, because not. They can spin this crap, but the reality is the videotape's out there, YouTube's there, and there's a ton of people out there advocating the opposite side and willing to actually investigate and report on it. The days you can take uh, something and turn it into a big deal, those are waning for these folks. They still can do it. They're not going away. The mainstream media is not going away, but their influence is waning because they can't control it like they used to. So I give him props that he realized they were idiots. But in reality, this is the least thing they were idiotic about when it came to this election. You want to know what they were really idiotic about? I'm going to tell you what they're really idiotic about. The dumbest thing where they were truly idiots was just this one fact. This is the election in a nutshell. And this is basically the right track, wrong track record polling for the last 2 years. Coming up, I'm getting this directly from the Hill. I'm not making it up. This is directly off the Hill website, right? And this is the average of polling, right track, wrong track, since January of 2023. Now, I want you to notice something here. I want you to notice something here. The top is wrong track, bottom is right track. All right, look at that number. All right, 30.5% as of the beginning of last year. I mean, it fluctuated, but a little over 30% at the beginning of last year, right? And it never really gets above 30. It's in the low 30s here, kind of in February, and then it's down in the 20s most of last year. Bounces around, bounces around. Now here we are in, guess what? January of 2024. This is the beginning of this year. We are now in an election year. It is January 2024. We're going to vote for the president in November. And we have an administration that has had wrong track numbers in the 20s to low, and most just mainly the 20s, a little bit of 30s here, but mostly the 20s for the year leading up to the election, and remains in the 20s other than a couple of days here and there throughout the entire election cycle. Okay? This one data point, this singular data point, should have been to any honest reporter or analyst that understands electoral politics enough to tell them that the odds of the current administration or anyone associated with it winning an election were next to nil. Okay? When 3/4 of the electorate believe consistently for years the country's on the wrong track. If you are Joe Biden or you are Kamala Harris, okay, if you're Joe Biden, you're not getting rehired. If you're Kamala Harris, you're not getting promoted. That's fundamental reality. That's fundamental reality. That one data point alone is the election. That, Ben Jones, is why you're idiots. This was ignored. This was ignored. This was ignored by the media, by the punditry, by everybody who went out there and told you in any way, shape, or form that Joe Biden or Kamala Harris could win this election. Had any realistic chance of winning this election, let alone they had a strong chance of winning the election or they were going to win the election solidly or by a landslide. Anyone that told you those things lied. They lied to you. They lied to you. Period. Full stop, exclamation point, whatever superlative you'd like. Bang, done. Okay? These people lied. This is why they were fools. They're fools because this was the reality and had been the reality. Understand, if you go all the way back to the beginning of the Biden administration, Biden was Biden went underwater in approve, disapprove of his handling of his job. His approval numbers went underwater in September of his first year and never went back up. Okay? He did not last. He lasted. He didn't even last 9 months before he was under 50% approval ratings. He went under 50% like in August. He went underwater where his approval, his approval was below his disapproval in September, like mid-September or so of 2021. Less than 9 months, roughly 9 months into his administration. Less than 9 months, he's under 50%. Less than 10 months, he's under completely underwater, and he never recovered. He was below, he was at or below 40% pretty much for the next 3 years. Still is. These numbers, just as bad, but these are more important because there is a direct correlation between the people who believe the country's on the right track and whether or not you're going to get reelected. If your right track numbers are in the 20s, you don't get elected. Period. You don't win an election. If you're the incumbent party, you do not win. Period. Never happened in the history of the United States. Never. So they knew they were idiots for ignoring this. They're idiots for buying it. There was never, and there were more indicators than this the course of this election cycle, but this is the primary one. This is the undeniable one. This is the one that should have every single pundit who had a modicum of honesty in their body telling you Kamala Harris and or Joe Biden, depending on what time of the year it was, odds of winning this thing are insanely low. They're virtually nothing. Yet we went into election day with people still claiming, we went through an entire election cycle with people claiming, oh, Harris is winning, Harris can win, Harris is, not only Harris can win, like I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with reporting how the polls came in or this, that, and the other thing. That's your job to report what happened in the day. But when you go to do your analysis on this and you say things like, oh, Harris is comfortably going to win this, you're a liar. You're just a flat out liar. The best you could have ever offered, and being honest, if you looked at the data, is that there might be a slim chance that she could squeak out an electoral college win. And that probability was insanely low. That's the best shot they ever had. No one should have been surprised. No one should have been surprised by the outcome last Tuesday. No one. But for the fact they were lied to by these people. They were lied to by people like Van Jones, like CNN, like Wolf Blitzer, like Jake Tapper, like Joe Scarborough. They were lied to, lied to, lied to again and again and again. Lied to. So, yes, people wound up surprised. These people that did this to you, they are idiots. So I completely agree with Van Jones here. They were the idiots. They were absolutely idiots. But not simply because they didn't read the tea leaves on the media shift. I mean, they were idiots because they refused to accept reality. And the people that were shocked Tuesday night by the outcome were the people that unfortunately were foolish enough to believe these idiots and liars. And those people, if you found yourself in utter disbelief Tuesday night that Trump won and Trump won big, you have every right to be angry. You do. But your anger should not be directed at the people that voted for Trump. Your anger should be directed at people like Van Jones and others. I'm just using Van Jones because this article calls him out. So there were hundreds of them, if not thousands of them. You should be angry at them because they lied to you. They took advantage of your naivete and told you lie upon lie upon lie. There was never an indication in any way, shape, or form that Kamala Harris could win that election. The only honest answer anyone could have given you, if they were not lying to themselves and lying to you, was that maybe she can pull out an upset. Maybe she can pull out a slight little upset, but that's it. She might be able to squeak some kind of electoral college path. And even at the electoral college path, the polling never indicated it was a likely outcome. But polling can be wrong. But the reality was, if you went into election night expecting Kamala Harris to win, you have every right to be upset and angry that she didn't. But don't be upset with the Trump voters about it. Be upset with the people who lied to you because they knew this information that I just told you, or they should have. And they lied to your face night after night after night. I don't care if it's some pundit on YouTube that lied to your face, some pundit in the mainstream media. I don't care who it was. They lied to you. They lied to you. Pure and simple. So you have a right to be angry, but be angry at them, and then being at yourself for being naive enough to believe them. So yes, Van Jones, you guys were idiots. But you were idiots for far more than not realizing, oh, there is a new media model out there, and Trump is leveraging it very, very well, and you guys aren't. That certainly didn't help your cause. But you were idiots for ever believing this was a recipe where you could win. All right, with that, I'm out.